Welcome back to Unfiltered Truth with Jack Bomar. Today's episode is extra special because I get to sit down with a phenomenal spiritual leader and a dear friend and colleague in ministry. One of those brothers you can call at 1 or 2 in the morning and still end up laughing until the sun comes up. Reverend Dr. Kevin Cottrell Ross, or as many know him, Rev Kev, is truly a force of nature. He is a spiritual innovator, a social justice leader, humanitarian, author, and bridge builder whose mission has taken him across the world, from standing alongside icons like Miss Coretta Scott King and the Dalai Lama, to walking across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, to being on the front lines for justice in Sacramento. Rev Kev is proof that faith without works is dead. But beyond the headlines, accolades, and stages, what I love most about Rev Kev is his heart, his laughter, and his commitment to living truth with courage. Today, we're going to talk about his journey and his mentors like Reverend Ike and the Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman, and what it really takes to lead with love and boldness in times like these. So let's dive in. Brother Rev Kev, welcome to Unfiltered Truth. Thank you so much for joining us. It's such a joy to have you.
It's always a joy to be with you, Bishop, and I know we're going to have a great time. He's already having when
I see you, I just get tickled.
Overflowing with joy.
Overflowing with joy.
Overflowing with
You have
joy.
that effect on people, don't you?
Well, especially you, because to get into this proximity of the beauty of friendship that we have cherished for well over a decade.
Wow.
2 decades,
Yeah.
really, maybe 3 decades, but I don't want to age you in front of the people,
So, over the years, we've had many of laughs.
Yes.
In the wee hours of night. I mean, you're really the only one that can send me a text or call me and I'll answer at 1, 2, or 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and we can laugh.
Yeah.
And just laugh, and it's effortless.
Yeah. Well, I understand that laughter is medicine. And in the times that we are living in, and with the callings that we have, and with the private struggles that we go through, sometimes the only thing that can break you from the real downs that we have as leaders is laughter. Laughter is it takes you out of time. To laugh is to be extemporaneous, extemporal, out of, ex from the Latin to step out of. So out of temporal time.
Wow.
So when we laugh, we are moving into the timeless, spaceless, eternal dimension.
Well, we do that all the time. We do.
And I'm glad that it's mostly me laughing at you, not with you.
Listen, I already knew. So I'm curious, of all of the moments of joy and laughter,
Yes.
what's one funny moment or memory that stands out in our friendship that when you think about it just makes you laugh? And don't you dare say that photo.
We can't. You got to ask
say the photo that you sent me.
I can't. I was about to say we can't. So there's that. So it's gonna be a private memory because that would be the penultimate. That would be the penultimate. But it is medicine. These memories are medicine that we create out of that laughter. That particular moment, were I to reconstruct that, moment, I could say it this way. There are things that friends can say and do with and among each other
Ashe.
in a type of trust that is held. And those jokes or those ways of playing with and about situations are kept, and they're good memories, and those good memories are a good medicine when we're apart.
Ashe. There is one memory that we've had many, and a lot of the videos that I have of us are the videos that you've sent me. I'm always amazed that you have videos from way back when. And there is one video, I wish that we could show it.
It's referred to as the Nativity. We call him Black Baby Jesus. And so we're going to show you
No, we're not.
the Nativity. I was one of the wise men that was there. Okay.
So you shoulder a lot of responsibilities. You're all over. You travel from the West Coast to the East Coast doing ministry, leading social justice conversations and efforts. What keeps you centered, and how do you remain grounded in light of all that you have to shoulder today, leading your ministry there at Unity of Sacramento, leading your own humanitarian organization, doing the work that you're doing at Harvard University? How do you remain centered in all of this?
When I think about that question, they're the faces of those who paved a way that I could be in these rooms, that I could have these opportunities. So I always kind of tap into that ancestral progression of folks who paid an awful price for me to be present in rooms that maybe they didn't even get to enter. And so because of that, that is the sobering thought. I get a sobering thought when I feel like maybe I don't belong here, or maybe it's too much. I reach back to those memories, to those ancestors, and it sobers me. And then from that, I repossess my breath from the places and spaces that it gets tangled up in doubt and in fear and in anxiety and in worry. I repossess it from
That's
that.
powerful.
And then that brings me back to the center of my soul, where I get advised from within. That's where, go into that secret closet, if you will.
You've studied at Morehouse, the house at Harvard. You've sat at the feet of giants like Reverend Ike, the legendary Reverend Ike, the legendary Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman. How did their mentorship shape the man that you are and the leader that you are today?
In very profound ways. Almost nothing that I have achieved, in small measure or great measure, I cannot point to it as a singular effort. It's hours spent with Reverend Ike challenging me on exegetical sermon preparation. People don't know the scholar that he was. And so he would spend, no, go back, let's look at it. And he would actually help me to do exegesis and understand how to do it in a metaphysical way, how to translate things metaphysically. Or Dr. Johnny Coleman flying into Atlanta when I was a student at Morehouse College to say, when I had experienced a breakup and I was depressed, and she came in, like swooped down to remind me of who I am and to tell me she wasn't that hot in the first place, so get over it. As only she could say.
How did she say it?
She wasn't that hot in the first place.
That's so her. That is so Dr. Johnny Coleman.
So they are pillars and foundational to my way of seeing the world, My systematic theology is rooted in what they taught me, but I feel their presence with me always. And of course, on my altar, their photographs sit. I see them every day, and I feel them all the time.
Reverend Ike was often misunderstood.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you feel that people really just got wrong or missed about him and his message, which now it's like so many are leaning into?
They didn't see that he was the arch enemy of poverty. They confused his emphasis on liberating people's minds from poverty and directing them to the power of God within so that they could manifest the lives that they deserve. They confused that with materialism.
Wow.
Okay? But it is not materialism if you have no material to start with. You get what I'm saying? And so I think they missed the fact that he was the arch enemy of poverty. He waged a complete war on poverty, and he did it by liberating people's minds from the erroneous ideas that they had to somehow, because of the color of your skin, because of where you were born, because of your gender or whatever, that you had to be held hostage in a lower caste and experience a type of permanent disenfranchisement. And so they missed that about him at that time because they were focusing on, as one writer would say, the loaves and fish. They could only see the loaves and fish. They couldn't see the worm.
Hey.
They couldn't see the worm. He was trying to give them in order to
That's powerful.
be transferred. So he declared war on poverty in all of its forms, and he was relentless about that. And that's what I think they missed.
What is one, I know you've learned many or much from him, and I'm going to ask the same about Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman. What is one essential lesson that you learned from walking with Reverend Ike that you carry, that you see often in yourself and how you show up?
That the best of life in all of its forms are natural to me. He taught me verbatim. He says, whatever the best of life is,
In all of
its forms, just feel that that's natural to you. Feel that it's natural to you. And so I move through life with a positive identification with what I perceive to be the best of life, the best of people, the best of foods, the best of travel, the best of clothing, the best of work, purposeful work. Whatever the best is and whatever my best understanding and appreciation of that is, he told us to, and he told me directly, to feel as though it is natural to you. And so, and he would tell you that, and so doing, that feeling would then draw the best to you, i.e. this conversation.
Wow. And what about Dr. Johnny Coleman? What's the one, and I'm sure there are many, but what's one essential gift or lesson that you learned from walking with her that you see demonstrated and manifested in who you are and how you show up today?
Stand boldly on principle. She insisted that, first of all, that we ingest, digest, and embody the principles so that when the moment of truth comes, when the moment of testing comes, you can stand on the principle, make a demand out of that principle, and expect what we call miracles. Expect the situation, the circumstance, the challenge to yield to your command. So but she wanted us to have, as she would say to me, I want you to have a solid foundation. I want you to always be able to feel that you are standing on that foundation. And then there was a moment when she says, I can see you've got your foundation.
All right now.
You're going to be all right.
All right.
You're going to be all right.
You got that consciousness, huh?
Yeah, she would say, well, her words would be foundation to me, directly to me, but she was saying consciousness. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But she wanted us to know the principles, like knowing our ABCs. Know them. First, you know them in a rote fashion. You got to know that thoughts are things, and you're the thinker that thinks the thought that makes the thing, and understand the law of compensation. Understand, you are what you think about all day long, and all these things. She wanted us to know them like we know our alphabet.
Wow.
And then those things would localize themselves and attach to your spiritual ontology, your very being. It would become a part of you. The word becomes flesh to dwell among you. It becomes a part of the who-ness of, and your whatness, and then the moment of truth would come. And then it's when that moment of truth comes, and you stand boldly
Stand
right
there.
on it.
Right there.
Right there.
Don't waver. Don't move. Stand.
Right there.
Wow. Mm-hmm. At what point on your journey did you realize that this is my call to be a bridge builder, to lead movements? I mean, we met years ago, and you've been leading movements for a very long time. At what point did you realize that this is not just something that I desire to do, but it's your call?
There may have been many different moments, but of late, what I'm discovering is the uniqueness of that. That people aren't necessarily interested in building bridges.
Wow.
And so what I'm discovering is my interest and my passion for it, and my clarity about the power in it. This has it clear to me that this is a part of my assignment. But I'll give you where the idea came from.
Okay.
My stuff is always simple. Came from Sunday school. We used to sing the song, the more we get together, together, the more we get together, the happier we'll be.
Wow.
For your friends are my friends, and my friends are your friends. The more we get together, the happier we'll be. And so imagine moving that from preschool, thinking that way, then moving up through high school, and going, oh, that's a person sitting in the corner. Let's bring them in. High school, college. Wow, it happened at Morehouse that I was a chapel assistant in their pre-seminary program, and each one of us had areas of responsibility, and I was named the first, the chairman of the board of deacons at King Chapel. Now, Morehouse is all male. So I could see immediately how this would be enhanced if we brought in females and students from other schools. So I brought together a 100 diaconate at Morehouse College, consistent with all of the students from within the Atlanta University Center, still singing the more we get together. This so that kind of grows up in one, according to now the level where I am now. So what does it look like now that I'm in rooms where there are people from around the world who don't understand each other, a la 9/11. So when 9/11 happened, and there was this whole demonization and stigmatization of Muslim folks. Well, by that time, I had plenty of Muslim friends. In fact, I grew up on a block between a Pentecostal church and a Muslim Jamaat. And so
Wow.
I had a deep understanding of how Muslims thought and felt, and I could help people to dispel those myths by introducing them to my friends. And so
Wow.
that's kind of how it has evolved, and of course in its bigger ways, you know.
So you've been on the front lines of some of the most pressing justice struggles in our country. A couple of years ago, a few years ago, and right there in Sacramento, I remember seeing you on the news and your face. Can you take us back to that moment in Sacramento, standing for Stephon Clark, and the impact that that had on you as a leader, how it has shaped and informed your direction as a leader towards social justice and even your studies at Harvard. Your work as a result of that was very significant in Sacramento. What was going on through your mind when you chose to risk arrest for justice?
So I'll start by saying I am Stephon Clark.
Hush, Ashe.
So the immediate, my brothers are Stephon Clark. My son is Stephon Clark. So it was a huge inflection point in my life, because to send thoughts and prayers in
Yeah.
when a young African American unarmed man was shot and killed in his grandmother's backyard. A grandmother's backyard to me is the most sacred place on the planet. At that time, my grandmother's backyard was, the most sacred. So the thought that this could occur in his grandmother's backyard I had to move beyond sending thoughts and prayers. It was one of those moments where I knew if I did not act, everything that I had preached about up to that point would have been viewed as hypocrisy. It was an invitation to put feet on my faith, step into this moment, Kevin Ross. And so, and like everybody else who has those moments of marching and sit-ins, and we did die-ins and standing between groups of white supremacists and Black Lives Matter protests, and putting our bodies between them so that people aren't being harmed and being arrested. There's a lot of fear, anxiety, adrenaline. But what happens is, when it's in the spirit of Ubuntu, I am because we are, and because we are, therefore I am, you're moving in the we-ness of it. It's a we thing that's happening. And the thing that is at stake not only affects me, it affects all of us. And so there's a kind of urgency to appear. And so that movement in Sacramento was when they say I got baptized into the movement. That's what they call it.
Having known you all of these years, I know from just what I know of you and observed your ministry, I know that was a significant moment. It was a turning point in ministry for you.
Yes, because it was on our watch.
Yeah.
It was on our watch, and you're from Morehouse. You're from the South Side of Chicago. Okay, what are you gonna say? So I say a thing, and then the next question is, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
And so, and particularly, that was also at the time of the rise of the Black Lives Matter movement, and the Gen Zs and folks in that generation were very critical of cowardly clergy.
Wow.
Quote.
Yeah.
And they demanded, and I didn't move into position because of that demand, but out of a deep sense of this is me.
To that point, what does it take to keep showing up with courage when the stakes are so high?
You really have to care. You have to. It starts with caring, and you have to really care about our human dignity, our right to equity, our right to live in a trauma-free, world. So it has to be something that you actually care about. But the other thing is companionship in that, camaraderie. So what did it for me during that whole movement and other movements like that, you talk about those 3 AM friends, things would be happening all along. So let's say some other kids would be, they would be putting on what they would call a protest, but they had no training, if you will. And so we'd get the call. One of my friends would call, Rev Kev, they're out there. All right, I'm coming.
Wow.
That happened more times than I can count. You get out of your bed, you go. Why? So that you can ensure that the point was made, their effort to pursue justice was made, but also that they got home alive. And you have to care about that.
Yeah.
You have to care. But the companionship, the camaraderie, and the shared commitment of others, we pull each other back in and out together,
In a time of deep division and polarization, what role do you believe that ministers and spiritual leaders and spiritual centers ought to play and must play?
That speaks to a lot of.
And where's that line between the pulpit protest, pulpit politics, or is there a line?
Let me start with that last question first.
Okay.
When we get over the Santa Clausification of Jesus, we will discover that he was engaged in affecting the political process with a prophetic message and witness. His way of moving was to speak truth to power from his rootedness in the truth, right? And so I believe that those of us who've answered this call and who walk in the way of the great saints, sages, and avatars that we uphold and uplift have a moral responsibility to persist in truth-telling and attack the problem without assassinating the character of people.
All right. Good word. Good word.
You see what I'm saying? You can be hard on the problem, compassionate on the people, because if you're truly about this work, you truly believe in the divinity of all persons, the capacity for people to turn about. This is why in the civil rights movement, when the water hoses were put on the children, that was shown on television, it prompted the moral resources within the so-called white other, right? Whose response to that caused a shift. It wasn't perfect, but I'm counting on the fact that if I go down deeply enough in myself, I come up in everybody else.
Wow.
That there's enough of you over there and me.
Wow, and enough of me and you.
There it is. And so I'm betting on that.
Yeah.
And so I think clergy have a great responsibility in this moment to avoid spiritual bypassing, to avoid dangerous political neutrality, that kind of neutrality that causes them to say nothing, and unwittingly, often, the saying of nothing is contributing
Absolutely.
to violences for which they are principally opposed. And so I understand that there can be ignorance inside of that, there can be fear inside of that. And so a big part of my work at Harvard has been to create a curriculum, create a program, create a training that will equip leaders who feel the press of this is the time to speak, but the muting of their mouths, the paralyzation of their tongues in this moment, because of fear. I want to unloose their tongues in this moment with the right tools that will equip them to get beyond the fear. And I believe that there's a spectrum of courage. Everybody doesn't have to do what Kevin Ross does. You don't have to march. You don't have to do all these. But there's a spectrum of courage around which individuals can enter and then grow.
Powerful word. As we prepare to close, you've written a couple of books, The Designer Life and Breathing Space. If you could give our listeners one practice for living the design life by design and not by default, what would it be today?
To move through life with a clear intention. And when you understand that you have a clear intention, because this is what I call the designer life, a life by design, not by default, moving through life with a clear intention, then you will, with that, you're going to direct your attention onto your intention rather than directing that attention in places that will not be fruitful. And when I put my attention on my intention, I create a manifestation. I-A-M. Intention plus attention equals manifestation.
I am.
I am.
Powerful word. So we're going to close on this. We call these quick fire questions for fun, for light.
Okay.
Coffee or tea?
Lately, it's been coffee.
Coffee.
I need some right now, like this very second. I don't know. It's been, for me, what is it? A caramel latte lately.
Oh, caramel latte with oat milk.
With oat milk.
Oat milk. Okay. A song that always lifts your spirit.
A song that always lifts your spirit. Nina Simone. Here comes the sun.
Good. Dream destination for your next pilgrimage.
Pilgrimage. A dream to Egypt. I have not done Egypt yet.
You got to go with us.
Okay.
Yeah, we're on our way.
Right. Okay.
And if you weren't a minister, what would you be?
I would be an architect and interior designer. For sure.
Wow.
I would. I love dreaming up spaces and making them beautiful. Love it. So that's the fun I had. One of the fun things I had with that huge church, I was able to just go room to room. And yeah.
My brother, thank you.
My joy.
For sharing your love,
Always.
your light, your
Always.
wisdom, and your laughter with us today.
My joy. Thanks.
Family, you heard it. A life of truth, courage, and love isn't built overnight, but it is possible. When you design it with intention, all things are possible. Be sure to check out Rev Kev's books and follow his work, because the world needs more bridge builders like Reverend Kevin Cottrell Ross.